Hello. Is this what I'm going to have to deal with all video? So obviously I'm back. I haven't filmed a video in a little while, and this video is going to be all about my birth and Phoebe's birth, and I'm going to introduce her at the end of the video, so definitely make sure you stick around for that. Sorry if she is making noises the whole time. Obviously if she needs a feed, or if I need to stop, I will stop and I'll continue. But you might hear little noises in the background, I'm sure that's fine. So yeah, like I said, this video is going to be about my journey of labour and birth. If you follow me on Instagram, you might know that that wasn't necessarily the labour and birth that I expected to have or intended to have. So I will kind of talk through what happened and the decisions that we made and how I feel about that. Obviously, like I said, it's not what I planned, and this is just another way for me to kind of process it. I'm going to talk about it. I will be sharing some quite personal photos and videos throughout the video that I will kind of put in. Obviously this is my personal experience, so please respect that. But I wanted to share it with you. So where should we start? Okay, so obviously, again, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that I was very overdue. My due date was the 4th of October, and due date came and went, and she was still happy with inside me. So at 41 weeks, I had my first sweep, and that's where the midwives put their fingers inside your vagina, and they try and separate the membranes of the baby, of the sac kind of thing that the baby's in, to try and kind of encourage baby and get those hormones going. It only works if your cervix is slightly dilated. So obviously your cervix needs to dilate for baby to be able to come out. It would only work if your cervix is slightly dilated. So 41 weeks exactly, I went in to have that done. Unfortunately, my cervix was not dilated at all, so they couldn't perform a sweep. I was 0 centimetres at that point, which was a little bit disappointing. Sorry, I just shot my collar out. So yeah, they couldn't perform the sweep on 41 weeks. Went back 48 hours later, so that was the Sunday, went back on the Tuesday to have another sweep. That time I was dilated 1 centimetre, so they were able to perform the sweep. Yeah, that was it. And then the next morning, next day nothing happened, so that was the Wednesday. Thursday morning I woke up about 6 o'clock and I had lost my mucus plug. So I kind of thought, oh yeah, this is the beginning of something. Then that day, so had the mucus plug lost in the morning. That day went for another sweep, so this was my 3rd sweep, but the first one they couldn't sweep, so it'll be technically it's my 2nd sweep. Went for my 2nd sweep and I was 2 centimetres dilated. So again, it was going, dilation was going, which was fine. But I had been booked in for an induction on the Friday. So okay, so let me just in case you're getting confused the days of the week. Sunday I had my 1st sweep, couldn't do anything. Tuesday I had my 2nd sweep, was 1 centimetre. Thursday I lost my plug and went for my 3rd sweep. I was 2 centimetres dilated. Friday booked in for an induction. And because I was 2 centimetres, I was toying with the idea of, oh, do I postpone the induction? Do I postpone it to Saturday or Sunday? Bearing in mind that next Sunday I was 42 weeks, which meant that, you know, that's kind of where they take you to, and then you have to make a decision about what you want to do. So in the end, I stuck with the induction on the Friday. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I know all along I said I didn't want to be induced, the labour can be a lot harsher because it's kind of so sudden, you're not kind of introduced to it slowly, blah, 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 blah. But it had got to the point where I was nearly 42 weeks and I just wanted my baby. So we went for the induction. So on the Friday, about 1 o'clock, I packed up all my things because I thought that I couldn't come home Once I was in for induction, I was in because of COVID and stuff. So I packed up all my things, all my hospital bags and stuff, excuse me, and went in to Hastings because I couldn't have all these things done at Eastbourne. Eastbourne was midwifery led unit, there was nothing there aside from low risk births, so I had to go to Hastings. So I went to Hastings for my induction. They performed a VE, so a vaginal examination, to check how many centimetres I was dilated, and it was still 2 centimetres. So this is the Friday now, so still 2 centimetres from the Thursday. And then they put a pessary in, and a pessary is like, it's just like a little almost like a sticker, right, with a string, like a tampon, and they just put it up right on your cervix, and it's a slow release of hormones to like ripen and soften your cervix, and hopefully it'll start to dilate. So I had this pessary put in, and then really luckily, because my pregnancy was so low risk, and because they thought my birth would be low risk, they said I could go home for 24 hours, which was amazing. I thought I was kind of in for the long haul, and during induction you have to stay in on your own. You're not allowed your partner, I think it was like 2 hours a day, your partner could like book a slot and come and sit with you. But I would have been on my own the rest of the time. So it was great that I was able to go home. I was really happy about that. So I packed up all my things again. I grabbed all my bags. Sorry, I'm just sorting out my collar, it's so funny. Packed up all my bags and we left the hospital with my pessary, and they told me that I needed to come back if I had bleeding, if my waters broke, and yeah, if I started getting contractions. I think it was 3 in 10 minutes. And if none of those things happened, I needed to come back in 24 hours in order to get a second pessary put in. So they do 2 pessaries before they do anything else. So went home, just gonna grab a drink. Hold on a second, got a bit of a dry throat. Okay, so I hope you're all following. So it's now Friday night, I've got a pessary in, I've come home for 24 hours. Like I said, if those 3 things don't happen, I have to go back in Saturday to get a second pessary. So I went home, was having kind of cramps, went for a walk, you know, kept active, had some dinner, decided to get a bit of sleep in the evening. So I went to sleep about like 7 PM until 10 PM because I knew that if something were to happen, I wouldn't get any sleep in the night. So yeah, I went to sleep about 7 till 10. We woke up, Fraser hadn't been to sleep at all, he was awake the whole time. I woke up, we went and watched a film for a little bit, we went for another walk about 11 PM, got back, and then at midnight we thought, oh, we should probably, oh well, just before midnight we thought, oh, we should probably try and get some more sleep. Went to bed, literally as soon as I lay down, I started having proper contractions, and when I say before I was like, oh, I had cramps, oh, I had this, I had that. No, these were, I knew at this point, I was like, oh great, this is it then, okay. So I started having proper contractions, had about 3 maybe, about 10 minutes apart, and then my waters broke. So I was lying in bed and my waters broke, and I knew at this point obviously I would have to go back into the hospital because that's what they'd said. If my waters broke, I needed to go back in. They were completely clear, they were absolutely fine, there was no meconium in them, not a problem at all. So we came back downstairs, and at this point I was experiencing kind of like, not regular contractions, but maybe like 1 every 10 minutes. My mum and my stepmum Becky came over. They were going to take us to the hospital because it's not far, but it's not close, it's probably like half an hour. And obviously Fraser, you know, wasn't really in the zone to drive and stuff. So they came over, we kind of hung around at home for a little bit. I rang the hospital and let them know I was coming. We maybe kind of hung around at home for about an hour and a half. I think we left about 1:30 to go to the hospital. You know, finished packing up bits and bobs that I needed, all the bags were ready. Fraser obviously had to pack a bag because we knew that we were going into hospital and we would not leave without a baby. So we had to make sure we had everything ready. So yes, so Mum and Becky drove us to the hospital about 1:30 in the morning. This was the beginning of Saturday now, Saturday the 17th of October. Drove us into the hospital, and I went to the antenatal ward. to be kind of assessed. Got to the ward and they were like, your partner can't come in. We were like, great. So he had to sit outside because of coronavirus. He had to sit outside. I think it was about 2 hours they made him wait. So yeah, I was on my own. They did a VE, still 2 centimetres. And they decided that they wanted to put me on the drip. So that is the hormone drip, which is the next stage of induction if you're not kind of progressing yourself. One of the things I didn't want, because if you're on the drip, you are on a drip, obviously, so you are attached. I've still got a little hole in my hand from where the cannula was. The drip goes in a cannula in your hand, and I will put some pictures in around, maybe here, I'll put some pictures in. At that point Fraser could come in, because once you're on the drip you'll get moved to labour ward. So we went to labour ward together, and I'll show you a picture of the room and where we were at, or a little video or whatever. And yeah, it was nice, it was cosy, it was dark, we had our own little bathroom and stuff. But like I said, because I was on the drip, I was attached to the drip. Not only was I attached to the drip, I also needed constant monitoring of baby's heartbeat because of being on the hormones. So I also had to have the 2 bands that I had at 37 weeks strapped across my tummy for the whole of my labour. I wasn't able to move around freely. I was able to sit on the ball at one point, but it meant that they couldn't read baby's heartbeat properly, so they said I couldn't do that anymore. I had to lie on the bed. So basically all the things that I talked about in my labour plan video about how I didn't want to be strapped in, I didn't want to have to lie on the bed the whole time, I wanted an active labour, I wanted to be able to move around. Unfortunately that was not what happened. I basically ended up lying on the bed the whole time, which was a real shame, and something I look back on and yeah, I'm a little bit sad about, but it is what it is. At this point I'd been using pain relief wise, I put my TENS machine on at home, and sorry, just got a message. I put my TENS machine on at home and I was using that to manage my contractions for quite a while actually. And then when the contractions got too much for me, I got gas and air. So I'm just gonna grab a drink. So there was gas and air, like plugged into the wall. It was literally like mains. And then obviously the little tube. And again, I will insert some videos or photos here of all that. So I was now at the full level of the drip. I can't remember what it was, 160 maybe, or 180, I can't remember. And using gas and air, the midwives were really impressed. Apparently that it's very, very rare that people get to the full level of the drip without an epidural, because it hurts so much. I actually found that I was coping really well. The hypnobirthing was amazing. I was breathing through it. I had music on, like pop music, that when I was in a contraction I could like focus because I knew the words, so I would like kind of focus in on the words and kind of like sing along in my head. The gas and air was incredible. That really, really helped. So I was put on the drip about 6 in the morning, and they decided that the doctor said I could have a full 6 hours on the drip to see if my labour would progress. So I was going to be examined again at 12 midday, and if there was no progress, well, if there was progress they would let me carry on, obviously. You know, if I was in active labour at that point, which is 4 centimetres plus, then I could carry on and continue, you know, a natural vaginal birth with the drip, obviously, because you have the drip. Once the drip's in, it stays in for the whole until baby comes out. Or if I hadn't progressed, or progressed as much as they wanted, they would have to speak to a doctor and then make a decision about what to do next. So we were poodling along from 6 to about 11:30, and we had fresh eyes come in, so that's where someone comes in and checks over the monitors and checks over baby's heart rate and just kind of confirms that everything's going okay. She came in at 11:30, and she said, oh well, actually it's 11:30, we may as well just do the VE now while I'm here, and then we can make a decision. So my midwife did the vaginal examination. She didn't say anything. She said to the matron, can you have a check? Matron had a check, and then I could hear them talking and they called the doctor in. Basically, I was still 2 centimetres. So even with the pessary, even with nearly 6 hours on the drip, full whack, even with the intense contractions that I was having, I was still only 2 centimetres. So I hadn't progressed in labour at all. At this point I was really upset. I did start crying. Fraser says he thinks that the people thought I was in too much pain, but I was actually just really disheartened because I knew what was coming next. I was really upset. They started talking to me, the doctor came in, she did a VE as well. Basically what had happened is baby had, the whole time I was having sweeps, the whole time I was having they were palpating me and checking my baby was, oh, baby's so low, baby's right in your cervix, baby's right in your pelvis. The doctor checked me, oh, baby's really high, baby's gone back up. Oh, okay. So baby's head wasn't actually on my cervix, and the drip only works if the head is right on the cervix and putting that pressure on, because the contractions are putting that pressure on your cervix. Her head was not on my cervix, and her head was not, they're supposed to come out like kind of this bit first, like kind of crown first, but she was kind of like side on, so it wasn't really a good position for her to be birthed in. So she got herself in a bit of a pickle. She was still happy, heart rate was absolutely fine, she was fine, I was fine, but I was really upset because I thought, you know, I just knew what was going to happen next. The doctors said, oh, I'm just going to go check, you know, speak to a couple of people, see if we can confirm that you're okay to carry on the drip for another 6 hours. So she left to go and like confirm if they wanted me to carry on. I turned to Fraser and I went, I don't want to carry on. At this point, because I knew that nothing had happened, you know, I was getting on amazing, I was doing my breathing, the gas and air, but all of a sudden like the pain overwhelmed me, the contractions were too much, the gas and air wasn't enough. I was just absolutely gutted that I wasn't going to get, well, I already hadn't had the labour and birth that I wanted, and I knew now that I definitely wasn't going to get the labour and birth that I wanted. So I turned to Fraser and I said, I just want it to finish, I just want it to end, I want to have a Caesarian. And he looked at me and he knew, like, I think he knew that that was the right decision. I called my mum at that point as well. Obviously, if you've watched my videos, you know my mum and my stepmum are both midwives. They both know everything there is to know about babies. I called them and I just said, there's no progress. Still 2 centimetres, I'm going to get a Caesarian. And they were like, that is the right decision. We think that's the right decision, because she was still happy in there and I was still okay. If her heart rate had started to get funny, if she'd pooed in the, you know, meconium in the waters, she could have got an infection, she could have got really sick. And I just thought, you know what, we're both still fine, let's just get this done. So yeah, so that was my decision. We decided to have a Caesarian. Fraser of course supported me through that, he was incredible. The whole time he was incredible. And the doctor came back in and she said, yeah, we're okay, you can carry on for another 6 hours. And I just said, I don't want to, I want to have a Caesarian. And she was actually a bit surprised. She was like, really? I was like, yeah, please, I just want this to end. I just want to hold my baby, I just want to have my baby now. So then it was all action stations. They took me off the drip straight away. The student midwife put some of the stockings on me so that it's like about keeping your blood flowing and stuff. They took my nightshirt off and they put me into a hospital gown. Fraser got some scrubs on. and we were taken through into theatre. So this was, I don't even know what time this was now, maybe 12:15. Taken through into theatre, met the anaesthetist. She was lovely. You'll hear her voice in the video. She's the one that's kind of talking to me. Yeah, she was really lovely. They were all really, really kind. Our midwives were really nice. Everyone was really nice. And I'll put in a few pictures. I think I've got a picture of, I think Fraser took a video of the room, and then there's a picture of me having the spinal put in, which is basically like a more severe epidural. It just makes you completely numb from kind of like, well, I was numb basically from the ribs down. And then we had the Caesarian, and I'm going to insert the video here. It's about 3 minutes long. Like I said, it's our birth, it's our baby, it's our experience, so please respect that. But I did want to share it, so here is the video of the birth.
Here we go. Do you want to have a look? There she is. We're going to hold her up
so that you can actually see. She's a big girl, actually.
There she is. Congratulations. Fantastic.
Well done.
Just put this on to keep everything clean.
So in a moment you'll be able to go over.
Yeah.
She goes when the doctors are happy.
Well
Yeah.
Big girl.
I think this is the better one.
Big chonker. No, I don't want to see
On
it.
your legs, that's her just lying there. So she's still attached to you at the moment and just milking all the goodness from the cords.
Yeah.
That's why they can't bring any closer to you. But if you feel a bit of a weight, that's your daughter.
That's
sitting
her
on your lap,
shouting.
basically.
So shouting. That's her voice.
1:22 she was born.
Nice one.
However many hours you've been here. 1:22. And just cutting the cord now. All that extra goodness.
Does it feel real?
Is it now? This is when the hard work starts.
That's baby, for I've been in here for 9 months and I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
So she's just there. So the doctor's just going to make sure she's okay, then
Yeah.
you'll be able to go over.
Okay.
Just dry her off and just make sure she doesn't get cold.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Loads of pictures.
Oh, hello, little one.
Phoebe.
Hi, Phoebe. Darling.
And even watching that back helps me kind of process what happened, and it helps me feel really strong and really powerful. Like I said, it wasn't the birth that we expected, it wasn't the birth that we hoped for, but it's our birth and it's our story, and it was the right birth for me and it was the right birth for her. Yeah, they did delayed cord clamping. I don't know if you were able to hear in the video, they did delayed cord clamping for us, which was amazing. She was, that was for a minute. And then she was taken over to the resuscitator, checked over by the paediatrician. Obviously you'll have seen all this in the video, I don't even know why I'm saying it. And then Fraser was able to, they cut the cord, but they let him trim it, so they cut it really long and he was able to cut it. Yeah, and then like I said, we were taken through to recovery. We had our first skin to skin, which was lovely, and she latched, which was amazing. And then we were taken, so we were in recovery for maybe about an hour and a bit, which was where they kind of were just making sure that I was okay, she was okay. She had pooped and weed and I couldn't feel anything, and you know, I was having pain relief and stuff. And then we were taken through to postnatal, and Fraser had 2 hours that he could stay with me on postnatal. That was about 3:30. He had 2 hours he could stay with us. and then he had to go and I was on my own, just me and the baby. Usually partners can stay till 9 p.m, but he only had 2 hours because of coronavirus. So he had to go at 5:30. Yeah, it was tricky, but it was worth it. We were in a little bubble. She was feeding, lovely. We were changing her in the bed, and we had lots and lots of cuddles, and it was nice having that time with her, just me and her, and we got to know each other really well, and just having that kind of bonding time was really nice. Really enjoying spending this time with her. And like I said, obviously it wasn't the birth that we hoped for, it wasn't the birth that we planned, but it was the right birth for us, it was the right birth for her. She was a big bubba. I don't know how I carried her. I don't know how, no one knew, not even my midwives, not my mum, not anything, not anyone could worked out that she was going to be so big. In retrospect, a Caesarian was probably the best plan. I think we would have had a pretty hard birth if I hadn't had a Caesarian. So it was the right thing to do, and you've just woken up, haven't you? Are you ready to show your face and introduce yourself? So, without further ado, let me introduce you to, this is my Bella. This is Phoebe. Hi. Hello, this is Phoebe Asta Snow. Born on the 17th of October 2020 at 1:22 p.m. and she was £9.1, so she's a nice big bubba. And she's fantastic, she's so good. Hello. She's such a good baby, touch wood, but she's so chilled. She's feeding amazingly. Excuse me. She's feeding really well. She's sleeping like a dream. And we're just having a really nice time, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah, that's the story of my labour and birth. Hi, sleepy girl. So like I said, obviously I'll have inserted clips and photos and stuff, and like I said, it's our experience, it's our birth, and I did want to share it, but please just respect that. And I'm going to make some more videos soon, and I'm going to be a lot more lively, I promise. I feel quite tired today, but it was our opportunity to have a chat to everyone, wasn't it? Yeah, like I said, I'll be making some more videos soon. I'm going to make a video of hospital essentials if you have to stay in hospital, and I'm going to make a video of first week essentials as well. Obviously, well, they might be the same video, but like what got me through the first kind of week and stuff. But yeah, this is my bubba. Shall we show you off? Get the camera. Look. Hello. No, she's so sweet. She's such a sweetheart. There you go. Hi. Hi, Bubba. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Follow me on Instagram if you want to. I post absolutely loads of my little Bubba. Everyone's probably getting sick of me, but that is where I'm like the most active. I post pretty much daily on my story, and I'll post in loads at the moment, actual posts. So definitely go and follow me on Instagram. I'll leave the link in my bio. Hi Bubba. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Say bye bye. Bye bye.